Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. We got a special guest on with us tonight. Coach Jordynn Hernandez is in the building. Don't get it confused, though. She also played basketball. She's not just a coach that never played the game. She played the game and did it well. Coach Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed. And like I said, I can't complain. So
We thank you for hopping on with us, taking time out of your schedule with us. It is much appreciated. Before we get into it, like how's the season been going so far for you?
listen, it's been amazing. We started off 7-0. We were one of the top teams that were undefeated. Our net ranking was 48. We're one of the top mid majors in the country ranked. And then our last two games, we've kind of not hit a valley, but like I think that kind of got to our head a little bit. So like our girls kind of got a little comfortable, and obviously we played Texas Tech, and then we played a conference game, and so those two games that we did lose to our opponents. But I think that it was something that we needed like before we really tap into conference, so like we can kind of like log back in. But it's been a blessing. I mean, our team has been amazing to coach. Our culture has been great. The kids really enjoy each other, so season's been great.
What's the favorite part of coaching for you?
I think it's the relationship with our kids. Like, it's fun. I mean, just speaking for myself, like our kids are fun, and like I get to have fun with them. Like, obviously, like you said, I just finished playing like 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. I feel like I'm old, but I get to go out there. I get to hoop with them. I get to shoot with them. Like they make me do TikTok dances. Like it's just that individual relationship that I get to have with them that I truly enjoy, and like I hope we'll just continue to carry on. It's like I want to be invited to your weddings, or whatever the case may be. Like I just want to be a part of their life for the long run.
That's dope. Those are the best coaches that down the line you
Yeah,
guys keep relationships. To me, that means you did your job as a coach. It's beyond
for
basketball,
sure.
whether the player ends up going pro, whether they
Yeah,
end up being the best player that ever touched the
yeah,
we had a relationship outside of that.
for
I
sure.
think that's huge for you in the role of recruiting coordinator. So when somebody hears that, they may not know exactly what that role entails. What exactly does that role entail for you?
I mean, just really being in charge of all of our recruiting. As far as like now, we all do our individual recruiting. Like everybody has their own kids, but like, really be in charge of, like the organization piece of like call list, where we go out, evaluating period, who needs to go see who, like just making sure that we're kind of on of our top kids, and just it's really the organization piece. Um, and it's just kind of like chain of command kind of stuff. So like, they if you see a kid on film or whatever, then we'll get eyes on like as far as us as assistants, and then if we like them or whatever, then we go to our head coach. It's just kind of like a little kind of like our order, I guess, as to how we
Mhm.
can kind of get kids in and out. So we're not all watching the same kids, but it's really the organization piece, like I said, and just really being in charge of just you know recruiting and where we're recruiting at and all of that stuff.
For you, when you're in that process of recruiting, what are some things that you look for that hey, this player has this, like, all right, I want to bring them in. I want to mention it to my head coach. Like,
To be honest with you, nowadays it's just like that grit. Like I feel like nowadays that's I'm not gonna say it's hard to find, but it's hard to find a complete player. Like it's hard to find a player that's skilled in whatever they're great at. It's hard to find a player that's skilled and just a true competitor. And I think what kind of gets mistaken nowadays is like, yeah, I'm a true competitor. I want to win. But a lot of these kids really don't know what winning takes. You know what I mean? And I think that's a underrated skill to have alone. It's just like being willing to do whatever your team needs, like that mindset, and just being like, I don't care if I go 0 for 10 today, like I'm gonna defend my butt off, or like just that mindset of competing and like winning. I think that's just if we see that in somebody, like that's an automatic, like we need that because that's gonna affect our culture and just keep our culture where it needs to be.
what you just said right there, I know is huge, is creating a winning culture. And to your point, I don't know what it is either. You often see it where they have the skill, they
Mm-hmm.
could shoot, they may be able to rebound, all these different things and attributes, but the heart aspect, the grit, some would say the dog,
Yeah.
isn't all there for whatever reason. So when you do see that, that's something that definitely I know you probably look out like that's something that I need right there for sure.
Yeah. Like it's rare. And I think, and I do think like, like you talk about the dog, like, but it's like, what is a dog? A lot of people, I think nowadays kids are like, it's like chirping and being able to, I get an and one and I'm like flexing on you, which is cool. We love to see that, but it's like, okay, what if she just took your ball? Like, how are you reacting? Or like some
Mhm.
adversity hit, like, how are you reacting? Or your team is losing, how are you reacting? Like, are you gonna bring them up and like be a leader? Or that to me is a dog. So I think it's just people's definitions of dogs are a little different nowadays.
Yeah, that's kind of where we have to start off.
Yeah.
What do you define as a dog? If it's just talking, I mean anybody could do that. Like
Yeah,
especially like you said, how you
exactly.
respond when you're down though. That
Yeah,
that to me, that's where the dog is. You down 20 and you still out here
exactly.
putting in the work. You still out
100%.
here diving for loose balls, still running the plays correctly. You're not
Yep.
going on one. Are we down 20? Forget coach. Nope.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
huge
dog
thing right there.
for sure.
For
For
you
sure.
in this process, how has NIL affected the recruiting process, affected just the basketball landscape as a whole now that you're in the coaching seat?
Man, it's been kind of hard. I would say reason I say it's been hard is because like we are so good. Like we are one of the top mid-major schools in the nation. And so some of the kids that we are trying to get are kids that are in the portal that are coming from P5 or kids that, like we're able to compete with some Power 5 schools or Power 4 schools. And so for us, that's never really been a problem. But because we win and because of our culture and just how we compete, and how we play. But now that NIL kind of came in, I feel like that has affected us just a little bit because now it's hard to compete with some of those P5s because now, like, obviously their budget or, what they offer is a little different than what we offer. Um, and then for us, we're starting to grow it more. And I think now we're finally taking that step in the right step of where we're at. But it was hard at first because, Nacogdoches and just Stephen F. Austin in general has been such a winning school and a traditional winning school in women's basketball. And so it was kind of hard just to kind of take that next step. I feel like we were a little behind. We were behind in the process, but I think now we're right where we need to be. But it definitely at first it definitely affected it. So
I can only imagine. So like I like to ask when I have coaches on their perspective on NIL and how it's affecting them because we see it just recently. They're saying it's projected that AJ DeBenza at BYU is going to get anywhere from $4 to $10 million in NIL.
yeah, like, and I
I
think
wonder.
but I think what's crazy, what's hard, especially like where in my position, is just like it used to be so big for relationships, and like we're gonna continue to build relationships with recruits, with kids, but like that used to be like the number one thing, right? And kids will tell you like, I want to go play for a staff that I have a relationship with. I want to go do this and that, but then turn around and they're like, Coach, I really wanted to come, but like I got offered, I don't even 100K, and it's like, and you're not even really gonna play. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're not really gonna play. And so it's stuff like that that just kind of it bothers me because it's just like that's not really what's important. But I also understand like you never know what their background is money wise from a family
Mhm.
situation or in general. Like, how are you gonna tell a kid who's 18, 17, like, hey, I'll hand you this much? Like, heck yeah, sign me up. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's the tough part about it.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing at that age and not knowing the background because I didn't come from a bad background, but at 17, 18, and if you told
Exactly.
me 100K to go in the middle of Iowa,
Yeah.
I would have did it. I would have definitely did
Exactly.
it.
Like it's hard to say like okay, you're supposed to be thinking about what you really want. Well, yeah, but again, if you're 17 and you're offering me 100K and I can wear, unlimited gear and travel, like, it's tough.
With that though, do you think, especially being as somebody that played the sport, do you feel like the love of the game has kind of dissipated a little bit, even on some of the players, being that now NIL is involved?
Yeah, I do, to be honest with you. I do because it's a job now. And I think like now people are talking about making contracts because it's like, okay, so if I offer a kid 100K, but she comes, but then she redshirts and she doesn't play, like, do I still have to pay her? You know what I mean? So like it's like a job now. Like you have to show up and, you know, you're getting paid to do what you want, which I think to an extent is needed. Like I'm not going to sit here and say like NIL isn't great, but I do think it is tough. And it takes the true love out of it. Cause now you're just kind of thinking about the money situation in my eyes. And that can affect just everything, like team chemistry, all of that stuff. Like if somebody's like, yeah, you're only getting paid 10K, I'm getting paid this. So then it's like, there's some downfalls to it for sure.
Yeah, the scale even up. I name any names, but I've seen some of the better players because they don't have a social media following. They're not
Right.
willing to do
Right.
the
Right.
TikTok
The
dances and
post,
all of that.
for sure.
They don't get as much in NIL versus a player that, like you mentioned, you might get 100K and you're sitting on a bench. You don't even play, but you have 200,000 followers. We know we're going to bring in tickets. It's going to pay off.
Yeah.
You look nice in our gear, all those different factors. And it doesn't, like, I'm 100% with you. Yes, they should be getting paid. I think, though, the NCAA, they have to step in, figure out like an even playing field or something. Because, like I said, the players that are actually, you could tell, still have a love for the game.
Yeah.
And is working on their game, getting better every year. Some of them don't even see anything financially coming back.
For sure. Well, and then my thing too, to go along with that, is just like, okay, let's say a kid transfers, right? But they're not transferring because they want to win. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that drive to win. It's that drive to like, how much can I get paid now? And so now you kind of put that mindset of like, yeah, we losing. We might be 0-40, or we might be 3 and or bottom of the SEC, but hey, I'm getting paid like 2K. So it's like, I'm cool. You know, like there's not that hunger to like, no, I want to go to the school because I want to win, or like I want to go to the school because I want to grow and be better and be a pro. Like it's just, and I think that's the tough part is people, you know, and I think when you have it like that, I think you set kids up for failure, because now when you get into the real world, what job you gonna work that's gonna give you 200K off the bat? Unless you've been working on your career. I'm not saying a lot of kids haven't, but like, you know what I mean? Like what job you gonna be able to just show up whenever you want and it's, bet you got this much money. Like, no. So,
Yeah, that's a great point right there, because versus back in the day, your hunger and drive was to win, because you knew if you won, even if you didn't win as much, but you played well on a decent team, now the option to go pro is there. To actually now make the money. Some already made the money. Pro don't even have to be an option anymore. I could have
exactly. And pros can't even pay that much. I mean, our top of WBA players are barely getting the compensation thing, and probably not even fully. And that's probably because of endorsements. Like that's what I'm like. What's the motivation? I guess. Like I don't know. So
that wild for you, right? Within your playing career, right? Is there anything that you would have changed in your playing career that you would have tried to do differently? Now that you're on the coaching side and looking back on it, they say hindsight is 20/20. Is there anything that you would change about your playing career?
I wouldn't necessarily say change. The only thing I always give advice to my players is like listen to your body. I always battle like injuries, but I think it's because like we talk about the drive. I was always working. Like I always worked out, even on our off days. And I think that I don't think I took enough breaks to like mentally reset, or like I didn't, my body, all that stuff. And I think that is just it's part of discipline. And I tell our kids all the time, like a lot of our kids want to get in the gym, and I love it. Like I'm here for it. But I do think there is a day in the week, or like when you have an off day, like that needs to be an off day. And I'm a big, a fan of that, just because again, like season's so long, and like I feel like we don't realize that, but like we're going from summertime to March. And so, and I think that's just like, yes, I love the drive, but like at times, like you need to have a mental reset. Otherwise it can get tiring. So that'd probably be the only thing I would change, to be honest with you, is just like capitalizing on my rest days and just like, what's the reason why I need rest kind of.
I think that is definitely huge, because you have the spirit of players that, like yourself, I'm a gym rat. I just want to be in the gym. that same intensity actually needs to be on the rest and the
For
recovery
sure.
aspect too.
Yeah.
And one of my friends that went pro, he was telling me, he was like, I'm over here, but if I really understood the value
Yeah.
of like just even the simple fact of stretching,
Yeah.
taking that very serious, because 15, 16, 17, you
Yeah.
don't need to stretch. You tie your shoes, you go right out
Ready to
there,
go. Yeah.
ready to go. 27, 28, you're like, oh,
Listen, yeah. The
it
knees
hit
now
differently.
it's yeah. So yeah.
Most definitely. For you, right? When it comes to it, looking at it now, being that you're on the coaching side, you've played, you still are around the game of basketball. I'm sure you could have decided to do anything else, but you decided to go into the coaching realm. What about basketball do you love so much that you decided, hey, I'm gonna make it my career? You could have just hung up your shoes and went into a completely different area. You decided, I'm gonna stay around basketball and help the next generation.
I love this question. It makes me so happy. I just I just think that so much of life can be taught in basketball, and I think I just genuinely love helping women in general, like young women, empowering, and I think as women, and especially minority women, like and 80%, or I don't know the stats on this, I'm just making it up, but like 70 or 80% are minority women who play basketball. And so again, like just like life, I be telling her, like, life just be lifing, like there's so much that can happen in your life. And like I just think through basketball, like we're able to help them. And I'm so huge on that. Like we get kids, um, kids come to us at what, freshman is 17, 18. So we have you from 18 to 22, possibly. Like those are such key vital moments in your life that you find out like who you are as a person, as a young woman, what you want to do, like who are you without your parents, without your family. And I think that like just being able to add basketball, which is a great hobby that I love and a sport that I compete in, and like you just get to release everything. And then on top of that, I get to help women. Like that's like I don't know what other job you could ask for, And I love to win. And so I realized that though when I tore my ACL in my high school. So I tore my ACL in my senior year in high school. And as soon as I tore my ACL, like I automatically went into like coach mode. And like I honestly didn't think of it like I wanted to be a coach. Like I just love the sport, and then I love to help people in general. And like I could see, like, in high school basketball, like I went to school in McKinney, Texas, which is like a little suburb. So like I didn't have too many teammates that were like, I want to go Division 1. Like that wasn't the goal. Like that wasn't the driven goal. A lot of people were volleyball, whatever. And so to see my teammates that I had that wouldn't even think about going to play college basketball, probably couldn't even like make a layup at that time. Like I'm helping them, like simple as dribbling better. And like now they're confident. Now they walking in the gym with like this different type of bounce. And it's like, but that carries over into school and into life. And like now they're like, I can accomplish something that I never thought of. And so I think when I saw that, what I could do as a senior in high school, like I just knew from that moment I wanted to help people through basketball, which is being a coach. And yeah, I mean, I just feel like it carries over. Like women need confidence, women need this mental toughness, women need, all this stuff, and it can all be taught through the game.
Basketball, I can't speak to any other sport because I didn't really play any other sport at a
Mhm.
higher level. And I'm sure athletes of other sports would say the same thing, but I can speak specifically on basketball. So many, like you said, it's so many life lessons that's taught in basketball and probably sports in general. So many friendships are like literally 90% of my friends is basketball related.
For sure.
We played against each other, played with each other, coached with each other.
You're going through
Some
everything
capacity,
together. Like, yeah.
some capacity, we like the favorite team, same favorite team.
Yeah.
Some capacity, basketball is related to it. And I think that's really dope. The aspect and the mindset that you have of, yes, of course, you're a competitor. Yes, of course, you want to win. Yes, you want to help produce the best basketball players ever.
Right.
But the bigger part is the human being aspect,
For sure.
helping you. And like you said, those are some formative years of figuring out who you are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen situations where girls come to you not knowing who they are, graduate, and have a full, completely different scope on life,
For sure.
which I know is way more fulfilling than
100%. 100%. We say it all the time. Like, Coach Bishop's really big on, like, he talks about like developing pros, but his biggest thing is he wants to develop pros in life. And what you just said just now is like that's the most fulfilling thing. And like I feel like as a coaching staff, when everybody's heart and mindset is that, winning takes care of itself. Like our culture takes care of itself, winning takes care of itself. Like again, like you said, we want to win, but like ultimately if we're winning like in life and you guys are getting better and you're growing and maturing and all this stuff, then we're gonna win. Like that's just we're gonna win ball games. Like that's gonna be like again, it's gonna take care of itself. So
I think we got the title of the episode right there, Develop Pros in Life. I like that.
okay.
I like that. That's really dope. And that goes back to what you were saying in regards of go to a school where you got a relationship.
That's what I'm
If
saying.
I'm hearing that pitch, I'm sending my child to SFA immediately. Coach, you want to take her back with you right now?
Yeah.
Pack your bag, go with her.
You're
I'll see
going.
you on Thanksgiving.
That's when yeah.
That's huge. For you, you have a scripture in your bio on Instagram, Twitter. What role has faith played in your life on and off the court? And for those that's watching this later and that listen to this later, if you paying attention, she's kind of already alluded to parts of it right there without going to any specific scriptures. But for you, what role has faith played in your life?
Oof, that's a big question. I mean, it's the foundation of everything. I feel like I'm not even trying to get like through everything I feel like I've been in my life, like even outside of basketball, like I feel like I've had my like me and God be in a relationship. Like this is a true relationship. Like we've had our ups and downs and again, like you talk about, I like to share that with our kids because it's real. Like I said, life be life and there's times where I've sat out there and I've questioned God. There's times where I've been like what the heck? Like I thought we was good. Like what's going on? Like, when we beefing, I guess. Like, and and I think it's important for it's just a foundation, like just anything that you go through, like anything that we've gone through, anything that my family has, like we've always just been grounded in our faith because at the end of the day, like it's what's already written is written. And I think once I tore my ACL again my senior year in college. And so I think that's the funny part is like, that's when I honestly was like the most mad at God. And I think like when that had happened to me, I had so many questions because I'm like, I worked so hard. I did everything right. Like I didn't get to finish my senior year in college. Like what's going on? Like, what am I going to do next? Like I wasn't ready to let it go, but now I have to let it go. And I remember sitting there and I was just like so upset. But like once I finally changed my mindset to like whatever I go through, like I'm gonna grow through. And so it's like I welcome challenges now. Like if I'm getting challenged and I'm going through a stage in my life where I'm like, this is hard, I know something good is about to happen and I know I'm about to grow. And so now it's like exciting. So now when I go through stuff, it sounds crazy. Like now when I go through stuff, I'm like, yeah, let's get it. Like I'm gonna get through it, and I promise, like I'll look back and I'm gonna be like, damn, like I grew a lot, or like, you know what I mean? And I think that the scripture itself is just basically saying like, you don't have to be scared of like fear, and like God didn't give us God's not gonna put through stuff. Like we have to be brave through stuff, and I think that's when that's when people lose at life, is like when you have that victim mentality of just like, why is this happening to me? Why this? Why that? And I think that's when we let life win. And I just feel like that scripture just reminds me every day just to like, you got to battle through the battles and like be grounded in your faith, and everything will take care of itself.
A lot was said right there. A lot of good said right there. And again, if you watching this, if you listening, that was a situation where we gotta pull out the offering table and give an offering. Yeah, because that was good. It was a lot of gems, a lot of wisdom shared in there. And for those that aren't in the faith, it will sound confusing. The Bible talks about things of God dumbfounds the people of the world, because you're not going to understand the spirit if you're not of the spirit.
Yeah.
To your point, I'm saying like you have to consider it. Paul talks about it. Consider it pure joy when you go through trials and tribulations, because it's building
Yeah.
perseverance, is building your faith, is building these things. And like you said, you look back now at everything that you went through. It's like, yo, it built okay. My faith muscles is bigger. My
Yeah.
perseverance muscles is bigger.
But
Okay.
you talk about reading the Bible, like that's the crazy thing. Like I've always been making my faith, but like I wasn't invested as to reading the Bible as like I am now. But like when you read the Bible, then you're like, oh, I was Peter at this moment, or like I was, like you talked about, like I was Paul in this moment. Like, yeah, you have people that have done it before you, and like I just ultimately think like Jesus went through so much, and it's like, how can I how can I sit there and complain or be mad at him? Like, dude, this man just sacrificed his whole life, and Judas tried to you know, cheat him out, and like it's a lot.
Reading the Bible puts a lot in perspective.
A lot.
It puts a lot in perspective.
A
Like,
lot.
as you said, as a
Humble
relationship with
real
him.
quick.
Exactly. Humble real quick, because it's a relationship with him. And the thing that, is so dope and so cool is that Jesus is not negating what we're going through. Like, he's not saying that, oh, it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
No, he wants you to come with him. Tell me your pain. Tell me
Yeah.
what you're going through, but keep it in perspective, because I'm doing this for a reason. You may not understand it now,
Yep.
but I'm doing this for a reason. And the thing is that, I had to realize sometimes we set ourselves up for that anyway. So what I mean by saying that, I had prayers like, Lord, I'm trying to be the best husband. I want to be
Yep.
the best father.
You asked for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You asked for it. I was same place as you. Some stuff happened, and I'm mad at God. I'm in the car. Why, God? Why this? Why
Yeah.
this? And I heard a still small voice said, "Didn't you say you want to be
Yep.
better at patience?"
Yep.
Dang, I gotta watch what I pray for.
Yeah. I literally did a video actually like on that like a couple months ago, and I was like, just remember, be specific with your prayers, like because God listened, like, and that's so true. Like we sit there and we ask to grow and stuff, but like we get mad when we get challenged. It's like you asked for it, like you said.
This is the growth process. You don't get to choose how you grow.
Yeah.
If you said, Lord, I'm yours, all
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want then. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go about it in whichever way I choose. Just stay connected. For
For
those
sure.
that's watching this, I know it may be tough and things might be, hard times. Trust, life be life, like she said. Stay connected though. Stay
100%.
connected. It'll be all worth it in the end for you, especially with everything we just mentioned. How do you measure and define success
For me individually, or
individually and then in your role as a coach?
I mean, honestly, to be honest, they kind of go hand in hand. I think I'm starting to learn. I think I got asked this question last year, and to be honest, I couldn't answer it. I think I got asked like, what is like self-fulfilling to me, and I couldn't really answer because I feel like success to me is other people's success. And that, like, me personally, that's like my family. Like when my parents can sit there and say like they're proud of me, or like they can brag about it, or like they can come over to my house and I can spend the money on a meal for them, like, like be able to kind of spoil them a little bit. Like I think that's success to me because my parents worked so hard for me, and to see that what they, you know, their fruits in labor, like to see that bloom and just like be someone that they're proud of, I think that's just success for me. And to be honest with you, like I feel like just the doubt, like whether it's with me or people doubting me or anything like that, like now to see like what y'all gonna say now kind of thing. I kind of always have a chip on my shoulder, but I think now I'm kind of at peace with it. Like I've done everything, I've surpassed everything, so now it's just like enjoying it. And then I would say like in my role is like it's just the kids. It's signing a kid, and like when they get here, now it's seeing them work and like just be happy to be around the team, be happy to be here. I love to hear that. Like that's probably like my number one thing is like seeing a kid that we recruited and come here and they're just they're blooming here, they're happy to be here. Because I feel like in this business it's a lot of lies told, like a lot of promises that aren't promised, but it's good to know that, like, and I know that from a coaching staff and our head coach, like he's just so genuine. And I feel like it's such a validating thing that like when kids come here and they're like, yeah, no, like this is home, like it's because of the coaching staff and the culture, and like that wasn't a lie, like that's something true and something that we can help you with. And so That's honestly the most fulfilling thing, I think, or success. That's why I measure success here in my job.
Nah, that's completely dope. And that goes to also with the aspect of, God talks about putting others before yourself, and that when you do such, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Like, I think that is one of the things that help to be able to stay grounded, to stay even kill, because you're not doing it solely for yourself. Like you said, you're doing it for your parents to be proud. You're doing it for the kids. Like, I haven't coached at the collegiate level, but just
Yeah.
doing AAU for a summer or two and seeing kids later, oh my gosh, hey coach, parents coming up to you, so and so couldn't make
Yeah.
a layup. Now they can
Yeah.
make a layup.
Yeah.
Just those things are the
Yes.
fulfilling things. Like, AAU doesn't pay you billions of dollars. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're able to, like you said, spoil your parents here and there, but you're not getting paid a
Right.
200, you're not getting NIL money. You're not getting
Yeah.
the 6
Yeah.
million, 10 million,
Yeah.
but you do it because you love it. And the
Right.
more fulfilling thing is seeing the kids progress on the court and off the court.
Yeah. For
For
sure.
you, last thing we have before we transition to what I like to call the fourth quarter segment, which is kind of more of fun, rapid fire type of questions. If you had to give somebody advice that's watching this, that says, hey, I want to be in the same position that Coach Joe is, I want to end up coaching, what advice would you give to somebody watching, listening, that is inspired by your story and wants to do the same thing?
Um, I would say don't quit and like be true. Like I think the hardest part that I've kind of had to learn and go through is like don't try to be somebody else. And like for me, like being young in this career field, I feel like at first I'm just like, what can I do to be more like this person or this person? So I'm not looked at as like a young coach or whatever. But that's like the best thing that makes me me is being able to be relatable. And so I think that as you go in this coaching journey, it's just like be true, like be yourself, because the kids will gravitate towards that. And obviously, every staff wants something different. You should want something different, like diversity as far as personalities and stuff like that. Um, I would say that, and then don't quit. Like again, we talked about life be lifing and just having that foundation. But like just any career field, if you want to do this or anything, like there's going to be challenges. Like do not quit. Like I think every time that you get through something again, you just elevate and you elevate and you elevate and you elevate and you just see that growth, and it's amazing to see. Like when I first took this job last year, man, I was like, holy crap, I'm about to lose my mind. Like I'm away from my family. Like this is a new job for me, all this responsibility. Like and it just hit me fast. Like when I first got here, we had to sign 6 kids and it was late. Like when we took this job, it was like I don't even, it was what, March, April, May, June. It's probably like around June. So like by this time, everybody's kind of filling out their rosters already. And I'm like, we still got to figure out 6 roster spots. This is my first time doing this. And I just remember last year, I was so like, oh my God, like God help me. Like, but this year, like, oh, we went to eval period. I was like, yeah, we good. Like, it's nothing to me now. And like, I still have room to grow. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, I wasn't as flustered as I am now. And I can tell the measure of growth just like from last year, like just looking at it. And I'm just like, wow, like it's crazy. And so I just think, yeah, like don't quit and then just be true to yourself. Like, God made you specifically for a reason and he made you, your own way. So like, just own it.
100% true right there. It's it's a very dangerous place to be in when you try to copy somebody else or do what this person does. And it's also, I heard somebody break this down, forget who, but I heard it in a message. Somebody said, when you try to go copy somebody else, you're basically telling God that you didn't do a good job.
I'm sorry, God. Yeah.
It's like you
Yeah.
said, God created you in your own unique way to be exactly who you are. The way you laugh, the way you think is specifically for you. So when you go out and try to be like, I like how they do it. It's one thing to like it, but then you try to actually go
Right. Right.
copy and be a carbon
Yeah.
copy of that person. You basically telling God, like, yo, you kind of messed up right there on my
Yeah.
laugh. Oh,
Yeah.
the laugh sucks. I'm gonna go get somebody else's laugh.
Yeah. For sure.
Very dangerous spot to be in, but it's very in this time and space. I can't speak to before because I wasn't alive then. But I think in this time and space, we see that often of the
Yeah.
comparison and looking elsewhere and copying this and copying that. When in actuality, just be yourself, and being yourself could take you far. There's somebody, you're not for everybody, but there's somebody that's for you. So
Yes. For
just be
sure.
you. Fourth quarter segment. Before we get you out of here, a couple of questions. We again thank you, Coach Joe, for hopping on, taking time out of your schedule. One place you can eat and never get tired of it. So I ask every guest about food because I am a foodie myself. It may not look like it, but I eat for three. So I like to ask others about food also.
Oh man, food I can never get tired of. There's a street taco place in Dallas called La Ventana. It's gas, and I could eat street tacos every day of my life.
All right, what's the specific tacos you get?
I get steak tacos with some cheese on it, extra limes. I don't like onions, but I'll have cilantro on there, and then gotta have the hot sauce. I usually mix the red and the green together, so
Okay,
yeah.
I can dig that. I can dig
Real
that.
specific order.
I can dig that for sure. I love me some tacos any day of the week.
Fire.
And the key thing you said for me, that cilantro is a game changer.
I'm telling you, people don't think so. It is for sure.
If you haven't added the
You
cilantro,
got
it's a
to. Yeah.
game changer. Fresh cilantro,
Yeah.
you're gonna taste the difference for sure.
Yeah.
Favorite things to do outside of basketball. You're not coaching, you're not watching film, you're not recruiting, you're not dribbling, nothing basketball related. What's your favorite things to do?
Usually probably like just hang out with my family, my boyfriend, my dog. I love music, so like I love just like being in my house and like turning Alexa up and like just usually they're probably like cleaning, like catching up my day, but like it's just like it's so crazy. Like that's how you know you're getting older. It's like I like to like tidy up some stuff, clean, but like have that music blasting and like that's just like my piece. Like I just love it.
So what do you have in your musical rotation?
I'm an R&B girly. I mean, from '90s to now. You have Aaliyah, like Lauryn Hill, Beyonce, like it's everything. Summer Walker, all of that. So
Got it.
yeah.
All expense paid vacation. We talked about before the show started that you went to Italy. All expense paid vacation. Where would you go and who are you taking?
I'm going back to Italy. I'm going to Capri Island. I mean, Sorrento. That's where we were, and I'm visiting the Capri Island and all that. Going back there, and I'd probably take it'd be me and my boyfriend. So
Dog staying home?
I wish I could take him, but he's kind of big, and I don't know how that would work. If I was like on
What
a
kind of
private
dog you
jet,
have?
for sure, a Rottweiler.
Oh yeah, never mind.
I don't know how that would work. Taking him on American Airlines or the London Airway, whatever.
Nah, Rottweiler to Italy. I don't know if that's gonna work.
Now, if it was a private jet, like for sure, like if
Oh yeah,
that's
that's different for sure. All time for the season, all time favorite Christmas memory.
Honestly, I got two.
Okay.
I got one of them when I can't remember how old I was. My older brother had got a phone, but I knew, but he didn't know. And I had spilled the beans out in the car, and my parents were so mad. But I just thought it was so funny because I just it just came out, and he was like, like he was so happy. And then my other one would be we got Guitar Hero, and we were waiting. Like it's one of those like at midnight we get to open the gift, but like we knew what it was because it was wrapped, and obviously it looks like a guitar. And me, my dad, and my brother stayed up all the way to like 12. And as soon as 12 hit, we unwrapped it, we hooked it in, and like we were playing all morning long. So those would probably be my two like all-time favorite Christmas memories.
That must be something that's in the community, or maybe when you're younger. But I was the same. Once midnight hit, you could open one, and we
Yeah.
would We was up.
Yeah,
We
I was
were
waiting
up. The newest PlayStation, whatever it was,
for sure.
we was up to like
Yep.
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then wake up and open the rest of them. Like,
Yep.
especially when you was younger, you go to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 6, ready
You're
to open
fine.
gifts.
Yeah, you're fine. Body doesn't take a toll on nothing. You are good to go. Nowadays, if I don't get 7 hours of sleep, I am dragging, but my body, everything. Yeah.
So outside of your school, because I know obviously because you coach, you see your school often, you watch your school often. Outside of your school, who do you enjoy watching, players and teams?
Women's or men?
Women's.
Oh man, I love the backcourt at Notre Dame. God, Hannah and Olivia. I mean, they're just not only are they good and skilled, but you talk about the dog, like they're dogs, like they are. And I just think they're so fun to watch. Like they play defense, they dive on the floor, they take charges, they hooping. Like it's yeah, they're really fun to watch. I really enjoy watching them. I also enjoy watching Paige, Juju. God, I love watching Juju. I just think to be that skilled at 6'2" and her size, like it's beautiful to see like the women's game grow. Um, team wise, team wise, um, I don't know. I feel like if I say somebody else, I'm cheating.
I think those are solid answers right there.
Yeah,
That backcourt,
it's ridiculous.
it's
It's
absolutely insane.
I would, I
Paige,
would say I do enjoy watching South Carolina. I just think it's like Dawn. It's the Dawn effect. Like I like watching her team just take on her personality, and I think that's fun to watch. So,
most definitely. And like you said, Paige, dog, can't wait to see her next year in the W.
for sure.
And anybody that's watched this podcast, anybody that's listened, they know I am probably the number one fan for Juju Rockets. I've said it a
So tough.
bunch. Like, she's only in her sophomore season.
Yeah.
By the time she comes out, good Lord, the W,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be ready for Juju.
No.
I'm already calling it in advance, and hopefully I can look back at this in 10 years and they can replay it when she is getting like her 4th MVP or something like that. I'm
God.
saying Juju, I think, has that potential and that ceiling to probably be in that conversation of the greatest ever
100%.
to grace the court.
She's a complete player, like defensively, offensively, passing ability, competitor. Like I mean, last year she took USC. They went to the what, Elite Eight or Final?
Yep.
Well, wasn't Final Four, but like Elite Eight, and she didn't have like some. I mean, she had great players around her, but it wasn't like I have, like obviously South Carolina had Cardosa, Malaysia, like you know what I'm saying, Flage and all them. They got each other, but like, and I just don't really see her complain like that. She just hoop. That's an old school hooper. Like get to
As
it.
a freshman to do that,
For sure.
and to it kind of went under the rug because Caitlin Clark had the season that she had. She broke the record for most points scored by a freshman.
Yeah.
So by the time she done, if she decides to grace us with 4 years,
she's gonna surpass that big time.
Blow it out the water.
Yeah.
Out of the water.
Yeah.
But we thank you again for hopping on, Coach Joe. Y'all know the vibes here at the Bench Mob ENT pod. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.